Yeah, actually, I guess I'm the AD and Pam is the AD secretary is what she's listed as, but essentially she is the co-AD because without her, she basically double checks everything I do. She makes sure all our checks are sent properly, helps me with officials, rosters, all those kind of things. Make sure to help me with scheduling and to get the schedules, online, that kind of thing, along with another one of our secretaries. So essentially, she's kind of the one person that's been here constantly throughout any change that's happened with, before previously with Farragut, now with Nishnabotna, and she's the person that pretty much knows where everything is and what the prices are and where we go.
You mentioned a lot of changes. Can you, I guess, kind of go through that for me? I mean, you found out you were an AD maybe at a little later date, and you had a busy summer.
I found out that I was going to become the AD here this past summer in July. So I had a lot of catching up to do as far as, as some people know, getting officials is not an easy task when you haven't actually got them that late, because this year, for example, I've already looked at, pretty much got all our volleyball officials and working on basketball, etc. And so I spent a lot of time this summer double checking our schedules, trying to find officials for this year we're currently in. And it takes a lot of hours. You got to put in a lot of hours to make sure it's right.
How do you like it?
That's kind of a double-bladed sword, so to speak. I enjoy the work. I feel like after this year, it will be a lot easier once you, I think, get through that first year, which I've talked to, several ADs around the area, and they've assured me that the first year for everybody's that way. I've talked to, Jeremy Christensen, Mr. Sweeney, all those guys. And I feel like once this first year's over and I'm able to actually start next year's schedule, which I already have in advance, I feel like it's going to be something that I really enjoy.
Great. I guess you're not just the AD either. You got a lot of other duties. Can you talk about those?
Yeah, I mean, as a small school, you kind of have to wear a lot of hats. I am currently a teacher. I coach assistant football for high school. I'm head boys basketball. I'm also girls and boys golf, along with the AD. Sometimes I'm a janitor. Sometimes I'm security. It all just kind of depends. Like I said, at a small school, you got to watch the fine print because other duties as assigned can mean a lot of things.
Definitely. Obviously, we all know about the situation in Nishnabotna this year, and I mean, you probably know better than most. I mean, you've been around it. I guess, can you talk a little bit? I mean, you've been around the kids too, so I guess, can you talk about maybe how that was kind of affecting them? Did you see that affecting them at all, or did they just kind of put their heads down and go?
It did affect them. I mean, especially after, the reorganization vote failed. You could see it. A lot of them were concerned, along with parents, obviously, because, not being sure what's going to happen this next year, now we know. But, they were concerned, where am I going to have to go to school? Am I going to be able to be here? And you could see it with them, but at the same time, you never saw anybody say, no, I'm just going to cut it off. I'm not going to be involved in activities. I'm just going to get through this year and go somewhere else. I mean, you saw them rally around each other in the school a lot. You saw it with them peacefully showing their displeasure for the failed vote and then continuing to, excel at activities because, we had some good winter sports and we're having a pretty good spring. So I really think they rallied around each other and just, being Blue Devils to push through, so to speak.
It's kind of interesting, too, because when Nishnabotna was formed, there were a lot of, maybe not a lot, but some naysayers as well. But to me, I guess there is, maybe before there was a Farragut, there was a Hamburg part of Nishnabotna. Now it seems like it's just Nishnabotna.
It really is, and I guess I kind of speak from a unique perspective because, as most people know, I'm a graduate of Farragut High School, and my first teaching job actually for my first 5 years was in Hamburg. Okay. So I was kind of sitting on both sides of the fence, so to speak. And at first, yeah, you could see the naysayers, and you could really tell, that first year of consolidation or whole grade sharing that you'd look and you'd see, okay, these kids are from Hamburg, these kids are from Farragut. It was very evident in like before school and lunchtime, and then as the next year you couldn't really tell as much. And by now, I mean, that's just it. The kids, one of their quotes, when all this happened in December was, we're not Wildcats, we're not Admirals, we're Blue Devils. And essentially, most of these kids in high school, it's all they've ever known is to be a Blue Devil, other than when they were in elementary school. So I mean, it's kind of neat at the same time, because they actually got to develop a new set of traditions, a new way they wanted to do things, because it's not just Hamburg, it's not just Farragut anymore. There are no Wildcats or Admirals. They've really accepted the fact that they're a Blue Devil, and they enjoy it.
Can you quickly give me, moving on a little bit, can you quickly give me kind of the sharing, contracts or deals you have right now? Where's, what are some of the shared deals you have?
Well, obviously, we hold grade share, between the two schools. But outside of that, we currently share sports with Shenandoah. We send our boys and girls bowling there. We send our boys and girls tennis there, and then we also share wrestling with them as well. Everywhere else, we are actually just Nishnabotna on our own. So,
great. You've got a lot of different sports, but it's just, I feel like it's a really small collection of coaches. I mean, you mentioned a few that you coach. It seems like Blair Holman is maybe the busiest guy out there. Can you run through your coaches?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few of us that have several hats to wear. You mentioned Coach Holman, and he is our head football coach for high school. He's our head girls basketball coach. He was one of our junior high track coaches, but he stepped down this year as his daughter was born. He's still our head baseball coach. So right there, he now is down to three sports for the year, along with me. We also have Al Doval's one of our assistant football coaches. Has been since for years. He was down in Hamburg, and he used to be our boys track coach, and he's since moved on from that. Tommy Linhart, what is our cross country coach? She took a hiatus from that again because of the birth of her son, and she's also our boys track coach. So again, she'll be back next year to doing two sports. We have Wendy Gardner, who does volleyball. Trying to go through my head. Track, Coach Peters does track, and he also helps out with our middle school wrestling program. Okay. The kids that go to Shan, so again, he has a couple hats there. John Ward actually does a lot of junior high and assistant coaching duties with junior high football, him and Alec Hendrickson, and then he also is junior high basketball with Alec Hendrickson, who's another young kid that helps out, and he's also high school boys basketball assistant, as well as the golf coach assistant and the assistant softball coach. So actually, he has several coaching duties as well.
Who's softball now?
Oh, Dee Owen.
Okay.
Her first year was last year, and she is returning this year for her second year. And then I guess the only other couple I'm for Carol Height Susan will be back this year for baseball, and I think that's it.
I think you did now. There's a lot to run through there. Your thoughts on kind of the whole athletic season? Solid teams, really.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the year we had our one lone cross country runner, but she did well at several meets. Martha Dykstra. Volleyball, they had their ups and downs. They finished towards I think in the top 3 or 4 in the conference, and they beat a couple teams that were towards the top. Football, we struggled early in the season, but I mean we made a lot of close games. We beat one playoff team, and we were right there to beat with a chance to beat Sydney. So so out of our district there was only one team that we didn't have a pretty close game with that made the playoffs. So I guess, and we only had a few seniors on that team, which they'll be missed, but there was a lot coming back. Basketball, the boys, they had their ups and downs, but again, they were in almost every game. They were right there, finishing in the top half of the conference. And the girls had a great season, finishing second, tied for second in the corner conference for girls basketball. And this spring, we have a lot of things going on. Our golf team's doing well. We've had a two kids finish in our first two meets, boys as the medalist and runner-up in Tyler Beam and Jared Williamson, and Miranda Scroggy, who again, her and Tyler Beam both made it to second round last year with a chance to go to state. Our girls track team isn't very big, but they're going to give it a go. I think they'll be fun to watch. And then our boys track team has done exceptional at the beginning of the year. Those boys, finishing, I believe, third at Graceland at indoor meet, finishing second at a trainer meet that was pretty stacked with some quality teams from our class in 2A, and then scoring quite a few points last night. Even at the Shenandoah boys meet. So I mean, there's several boys who are up there towards the tops, obviously, in our district as far as qualifying for state, and also, towards the tops in some of the best times in the state on our boys track team.
Can I go back to, you mentioned the sharing with the bowling and the wrestling. How many do you send?
This year we were a little down more than we normally are, but we had one wrestler who went, Drew Menino, who's been wrestling all 3 years. Next year he'll be a senior, and then Quentin Charbonneau was our one bowler that went this year. I guess as you kind of close down your first year as an AD, I guess what are you going to kind of take from this year and into next year or years further down in the future? I guess I'm kind of looking at changing a few things. This year with track, we've started to start using more technology with our track meets. I'm trying to get some of the things that a lot of other schools have used with ASPE meets and high-tech program for signing up, timing purposes, heating. And I'd like to see us do a better job of I guess things like tweeting, things like that, through coach, whether it's coaches or parents. I'd like to, next year, I feel like I will have more things completed before I'm on the spot for them, and I'd really like to, take a look at how we provide information, to the public, to, people like KMA, results. And I really want to push the technology issue a little more.
Anything else you want to add, Nick?
Nope. I'm excited to continue on next year. We're very excited that next year is a for sure thing, and you can feel it with the kids and with the staff as well as the coaching staff. And I think we're just excited to get into finish the spring spring strong and get into the summer months and be ready to roll next year.
Thanks a lot, Nick, and good luck next year.
Thank you, sir.